play with a little bit of a fast pace on the offensive side of the ball. But with Jalen Waddle being out, and he's been out for quite some time, you've kind of seen in a way this passing attack kind of regressed in a little bit of a way. They haven't been bad; they've been pretty good. But we all can clearly see that explosiveness that Jalen Waddle provided, and just with his presence being there, that the passing game was kind of unstoppable in a way. You had John Mechie that was underneath. You had Devontae Smith that can do that can pretty much do everything, and then you had Jalen Waddle, which was that explosive deep threat, which was for a lot of these players, it was just hard to scheme against. And then you had the offensive line and the running attack. Now with him being out, you're kind of seeing this passing attack limited in a little bit of a way. Mac Jones is, he's starting to feel a little uncomfortable of not really having his way. So with Steve Sarkisian coaching this game on the offensive side of the ball, I honestly believe that we can go back to old school Alabama. I think this could be the game where Najee Harris is seriously going to get a boatload of the carries, try to open up the passing attack a little bit, and Mac Jones might play as a little bit of a game managing role like we've seen the past Alabama quarterbacks do, which is not particularly a bad thing at all.
No, and I agree with you. Look, I think it's going to be a lot of Harris left, Harris right. Najee's going to be someone that they're going to use, they're going to rely on, and the fact that Auburn has trouble stopping the run, I hope that without Nick Saban there, sometimes these offensive coordinators, they fall in love with throwing the football. Look, I love the pass game too, and I know that Alabama's going to want to be balanced, but if Tennessee didn't run the ball enough against Auburn, I mean, they were gashing them. I mean, look, they were right up the middle, just beating them. And then all of a sudden they throw a pick six and the game's over. We know what happened last year in the game with 2 pick sixes. I know Alabama's going to throw the football, but if they're having a lot of success running, my hope, like you said, is that you go old school Alabama and just grind them out.
Yeah, and Auburn, listening to some of the people over there, they were saying that the reason why Tennessee did a phenomenal job was kind of because they knew that they wanted the running attack to chew the clock out. They knew that Tennessee couldn't really be successful on the offensive side of the ball as far as the passing attack, so they really wanted that clock to be chewed out a little bit, and they knew that Auburn's defense could step up. Well, you know what? If Auburn wants to play that way against Alabama, then guess what? You got to take advantage of that. If they want to play this chew the game, this game managing type of stuff, that's towards Alabama's favor, because as far as talent, they're more superior. So if they want to play this physical game, I think that's a challenge. That's a challenge towards Alabama, and I think they definitely need to take advantage of that opportunity.
So, do you have a prediction? How do you think this thing's going to turn out?
I think Alabama's going to win this game. I'm going to say 34-20. I think this game starts off a little bit slow. I think it's a very close game in the first half, but I think the second half, Alabama pulls away. They make the adjustment, and they pull away really, really big. I'm going to say 34-20.
Jarek, man, you're the best. At any time I do a call-in show, you just be the first guy up, man. Thanks for getting us started today.
Thank you, Mick.
That's Jarek from Buffalo, New York. They don't get any better than that. We're going right back to the call line again, and we're going to go with a 334 number. How you doing, man, and where you calling from?
This is Hunter from Alabama.
Hey, what's up, Hunter? Let's talk about this game, Iron Bowl. How do you think it's going to turn out?
I'm going to say 48 to 13.
Yeah. Alabama?
Yeah, of course. I think it's just going to be, a Mike Jones type of game. Him coming in, and I think a lot of people underestimate, Mechie and what he's been able to do for this team this year. And I think we come out firing. We get, open up the pass game with some play action, with some runs from Najee, and we take care of business.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think that Alabama's going to try to this is my feeling on this. I think Alabama's going to have to try to establish the run in this game early. And if they can do that, I think
that can be done.
Yeah. I mean, I think everything's going to kind of today pivot on how well they run the football.
Yeah, you're right. And I want to touch on something that the previous caller said about making adjustments. I mean, I know Nick Saban's not going to be here on the field coaching, and but we also got to take into consideration when it comes to halftime making adjustments. We have some guys in analyst roles who've been head coaches before.
Oh yeah,
and you got Charlie Strong, Butch Jones. You've got some guys. Steve Sarkisian's been a head coach before. Do you have guys that can go in there and make those adjustments and help make those adjustments? And I think these players are going to be motivated to play for Saban, to win this game because he's not there. So I think that adds a little bit more motivation to this game than just it being the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, I agree with you. No doubt about it. Look, when you're playing for a championship, then that's kind of what you got to do. You got to win every single game, and that's what makes college football great too. Is that every game is a playoff game. So not just having one win over your rival is important, but it's like winning each and every week. But, when Nick Saban took over, I remember him in his first year saying, hey, we just play them all one at a time, And then he got into that first Iron Bowl and lost and saw what that experience was all about. And then from then on, he said, hey, this is our most important game, it's like you come here and it's like all the stuff that about football and his strategy and style is to just try to take them one game at a time. But this just isn't one game. In this state, this game means an awful lot, but you still at the same time have to go out there and remember that there's a game next week and then there's one after that. But you want to win this one because we'll be talking about this one forever.
Yeah, I think I truly think this is the best rivalry in college football. I mean, not just because I'm an Alabama fan and not just because I'm from the state of Alabama, but I mean, I just don't know of a rivalry that is this intense.
Yeah,
especially if you live here in the state of Alabama. I mean, it's talked about almost on a daily basis. You see somebody in town or whatever, and you got an Auburn shirt on, and I'm wearing an Alabama shirt on, and it's always that back and forth, between the people that live here, and I think that's what makes it great.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Well, thanks for calling in and have a great Saturday and roll tide to you.
Roll tide. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, going right back to the call line, and we're going to bring on Cam from Brunswick, Georgia. What's up, Cam? How's it going?
Oh, pretty good, Mick. How you doing today, man?
Doing good. Ready for this Iron Bowl game. Me personally, and let me say this real quick too. Let me get this out of the way. Thanks to all you guys that are watching. Please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. It's great to have you on a game day Saturday from Hotel Indigo here in Tuscaloosa, hanging out right on the Black Warrior River and getting ready for this football game. You'll actually see people kind of walking behind me at some point today. And there's been one guy that got ticket to the game. He's dressed up like a New England Patriot. He came all the way from Boston. This has been a tough ticket to get, by the way. I told him that. But Cam, let's talk about this Iron Bowl game. No Nick Saban. Obviously, that's the big news. And Alabama's a 25-point favorite, so you wonder how that is really going to affect this game today. What's your thoughts?
Well, Alabama's averaging 49 points a game this year, and I really don't see that slowing down today. This Alabama team, when it's firing on all cylinders, there's not a team in the country that can play with them. The only way that Auburn has a chance today is if Alabama shoots their own self in the foot with turnovers and some weird things that happen that usually, goes Auburn's way, whether it's, we've seen it last year with the clock running out. Gus Malzahn, he's thinking of a way to scheme up some kind of funny plan to trick Alabama. But this year, this Alabama offense is firing on all cylinders. And I really believe that the week that Alabama had off against LSU, I don't think this past week was the only week Nick Saban was preparing for Auburn. I think he's been preparing for Auburn for the past couple of weeks, if not 3 weeks. So Nick Saban is always 10 steps ahead of everyone else in the SEC as far as being prepared to play a team that could potentially upset you. And I think this year is no different. He's ready for Auburn.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that for this particular game in this stadium, Alabama just plays Auburn well here. I mean, Auburn doesn't come in here and win a lot. And I think this team has so much motivation after the way that things went down last year. You know, Alabama should have beaten Auburn last year by 3 touchdowns, but their defense wasn't good enough, and they made a lot of mistakes. And I think that you go back to the locker room after that game, and then in the entire offseason, you're just thinking about what could have been. You won that. If you win that game last year, you're probably in the college football playoff. If you win that game last year, you might get a chance at LSU again. And Alabama was really one of the best chances to beat LSU a year ago. So it was tough for this team. And instead of sulking, these guys dealt with all the other stuff that's going on right now, with coronavirus and opt-outs and, everything else. And all they've done is just stay focused and prepare for each and every football game. And the great thing is that this is the biggest game of the year. You got, the ESPN Game Day show is here, which I don't even really watch it anymore, but it is cool to kind of have your town getting national recognition, and the school as well. But at the same time, you got to go out there and execute. Alabama doesn't make a lot of mistakes, but here's the thing. If they do, they can lose this football game. They don't make mistakes. I think it's going to be a long day for Auburn. And I mean turnovers, really.
Oh, yeah. And, like I said, Alabama would really have to shoot themselves in the foot. But
another thing they have going for them this year is injuries. Last year we come to this game, and Alabama was pretty beat up on the defensive side of the ball. And, of course, we lost our starting quarterback. None of that plays into a factor this year. Alabama is fully loaded on offense, even without Jalen Waddle. And this defense has gotten better. And, I think Alabama is going to make Auburn one-dimensional because they're going to score a lot of points. And it's going to force Auburn. It's going to force Bo Nix to play a game. And, it seems like it takes a perfect quarterback to beat Nick Saban, but it's going to force Bo Nix to play the game of his life, beat this Alabama football team. And if he doesn't, man, I tell you what, I think it's going to be lopsided. But, I think the score will be around like 49-28. I think Auburn's going to find a way to score some points, but it's Alabama offense. It doesn't slow down today, Mick.
Yeah. I mean, look, I agree with you. I think Alabama's going to score a lot of points today. And I think that this is going to be the start of what's going to be a really fun couple of weeks, because now you got LSU, then you finish up with Arkansas, and then I'm saying, then the SEC championship game. But it's a little bit different this year because of the fact that there's a game next week, and it's a big game too. You got to go down to Baton Rouge, so two road games to finish up the year because of COVID. But I think Alabama scores a lot of points today. I think this is their senior day. It's kind of disappointing that Nick's not there, but I guess for that photo op, they'll probably have everybody back in town and go out on the field with Nick Saban again. And the fact that there really wasn't going to be any fans there, anyhow, I guess because of COVID. I mean, like 25%. It's not going to be that big of a deal. But hey, thanks for calling in. And look, man, have a great Saturday and enjoy the games. And roll Tide. Thanks, Cam.
Hey, roll Tide, buddy. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later. All right. Look, the phone line's open right now. And if you guys want to call in and talk about today's game, you want to talk about the Iron Bowl, 205-850-0883. Call in and we'll talk. It's Saturday. We're getting set for football. I'm at Hotel Indigo in Tuscaloosa. I mean, you can kind of see a lot of the moving around behind me in the hotel lobby. And when you come to town next time, when we've finally licked COVID, this is an awesome place to stay. So as we kind of talk to you about today's game, you'll see people kind of coming and going behind me. Alabama and Auburn. This is, I'd say, in my opinion, and I think most of you that are watching today would agree. This is the biggest rivalry in college football. And right now, I mean, there's really, I don't even think a rivalry that even comes close to second. And it's because both teams, come in ranked again. Both teams are good. And what makes a rivalry is that, either team can win, right? Auburn's won 2 out of the last 3 Iron Bowls. You got to remember that. They've protected their home turf. And this game used to be played at Legion Field in Birmingham, and I want to say like back in the day, but you're talking about, in the late 90s. And then Auburn took the game to their stadium. So Alabama would play in Birmingham, and then Auburn would play, at Auburn. But then all of a sudden it was just a home game for Alabama. All right, let's go back to the phone again. And with the lines open, give us a call at 205-850-0883. And we'll start right here. Let's see if I got him on here. Hey, where are you calling from, and how you doing?
What's up, Mick? It's Kyle.
What are you doing, Kyle?
Man, you know what? I'm just so thrilled to talk about this Iron Bowl. So I appreciate, you being on the show today and the score prediction. I realized last night when we were talking on the tailgate show that I don't think I gave an official score prediction. So is it out of line for me to call the own show to give them a score prediction?
No, and that's kind of that whole last segment is all about picking the score. I think my score was 55-22. What do you think?
Okay, so I just want to make sure that I get an official scoring because I'll have to go over the tailgate show. I don't think I gave an official score. I'm going to go with Alabama 49, and I'm going to give Auburn 20. All right, so 49-29. I do like Alabama to cover that giant spread. I know it's a lot of points, but, I think that Auburn is somehow going to weasel their way in for a couple of touchdowns. And it happens every single time we watch this game. But just as we said and we talked about last night, I mean, I think Alabama on the offensive side is way too talented. And I think they're playing for Coach Saban. And, I think it's that simple. Now, I think listening to Nick Saban this morning on College Game Day really brought up an interesting point that he's almost being punished for getting COVID-19 and not being able to coach in some capacity with the team. What are your thoughts on that? Because I was thinking about it. I mean, you get sick in any other capacity. Why should you just be penalized from not being with your team? And they have the technology to, allow him to communicate with the team if he wanted to in some capacity, but that's prohibited because of the NCAA rules. Now, the NCAA rules were obviously put in place before COVID, but it makes for an interesting argument.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think they should just let these coaches coach from from like a box in the stadium, if they've got COVID. But then they got to get up there, and then you're exposing other people to it, and and all the other stuff that if we're trying to contain it. So maybe his house is the best place to do it, but that's why you have all these other coaches. That's why you have an assistant. That's why you have you go out and pay for an offensive coordinator that's a top paid guy. And assistants in college football, it's you're doing that because when something like this happens, they're ready to go. And I think that Sark was prepared for this opportunity. And then, Nick Saban came back against Georgia, which was like this he was like the Undertaker in wrestling. Like he thought he was dead and boom, there he's back. But this time he's not coming back. So I don't know. I think in a close game, it would matter. But I don't think this one's going to be close. Maybe I'm wrong. Auburn certainly is going to come in here feeling like they can beat Alabama. I just think Alabama's offense is going to pace them so bad that Auburn's going to have to score a lot, And I just don't know that. I think Alabama's defense will be good enough to stop them some. And then if they fall behind, I could see Auburn having a really, really long day.
All right, so I have an update for everybody. So the assistant analyst that Alabama will add today is A.J. Milwee. Now, he played at Alabama, then I think he transferred to Northern Alabama. He's going to be the assistant that Alabama adds to the field. So it's A.J. Milwee, and he is the current quarterbacks coach, and he is Sarkisian's right-hand man. So everybody was wondering if it was going to be Charlie Strong and Maybe another name that, like a major Applewhite, but it will be A.J. Milwee, who is Sarkisian's right-hand man. That'll be the extra coach that Alabama adds. So there's a small nugget for everyone to chew on today.
Yeah, and I wonder how that's going to affect things. I mean, it's all about Sark now. What makes him comfortable, what's going to make him feel like he needs to, what the things that he's going to need to get this team rolling. But thanks for the tip, Kyle. Well, Kyle, I got to go back to the phone lines again, but
all right.
I got Jeff on here. I got to bring him in, but hey, look, thanks for calling in. Great call. You're a great caller, by the way. First time, long time. That's Kyle Henderson. First time, long time, and our good buddy. All right, let's go back to the phone lines and bring in Jeff from Alabama. Bringing in Jeff right now. Jeff.
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing? Roll Tide.
I'm doing real good. It's Iron Bowl day. I'm happy. I'm ready for the game. As the last guy said, score prediction, I'm saying 52-3. I think that Alabama's defense is really mad right now because of, hearing everybody talk about the offense and not really much about the defense. They have talked about them in a couple of weeks or whatever, but you talk about the defense like that, and it gets them angry. Like you take, for instance, the Mississippi State game. I mean, that was a blowout. Everybody knew that was going to happen, but they didn't think it was going to be a shutout.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a blowout. I mean, that's the way I see the game.
Well, I don't think you have any mercy.
Yeah,
I don't think you have any mercy on them. I mean, I think you got to keep scoring.
You don't. You don't have no mercy on Auburn because they didn't have any mercy on us last year.
Yeah.
So I don't want to have no mercy on them. I want them to go out there and stomp them, and I want them to do it for Saban. And what Kyle was saying, I think they are messing with Saban because of this. Because last time, he was on the field for the Georgia game, but he's not on the field for this one. And it's not going to make a difference. Not in my eyes.
No.
I don't think so. And Auburn's defense has some holes. Everybody's seen that. I mean, Kentucky ran on them like it wasn't nothing to it. I mean, you got other teams that's played them hard. I mean, Alabama just has offense and players that are ready to go. It's just going to be a domination in T-Town and beat down in T-Town. That's the way I see it, buddy.
Yeah. Well, look, and give me your score one more time.
52-3.
52-3.
That's what I think it's going to be because, I think it's going to be that because Alabama is angry. They're not happy with what happened last year, and they've had to go through a frustration of hearing Bama, Barn fans. So I'm like, we beat you last year and everything else. So this year is personal, I believe.
Yeah. Look, if the defense since the halfway point of the Georgia game has been really good. Now Tennessee got 17 on them, and that's in this day and age, that's like giving up 3 points, like it used to be. I mean, to think that the work they did against Kentucky had some runs, but wasn't able to. They missed some field goals early in that football game.
What was it, 509 yards of offense for Alabama and 177 for Kentucky? Or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, it's
garbage runs is what I call them. That's what I call them.
Yeah,
they did get up there, but it's what it is. I mean, but Alabama's defense is really, really good. They really have stepped up. I mean, you got Maliki Moore. You got who else? You got Chris Allen that's coming up big time. You got William Anderson. I believe he'll get his first sack in this game today because Alabama didn't get in the backfield last year against Auburn, and this year they will, and they will get many times. I promise you that because they're angry and they're tired of hearing about everybody talk about them saying they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And I also said that it would take Alabama's defense 5 to 6 weeks to get ready because of the young players and the veterans. They got to get on the same page, and they did, and they're showing it every week as they play. And being off for 3 weeks and then coming back and then going 63-3. Come on, nobody else has done that. Have they?
No. And look, things are heating up. Things are heating up. Now you got Auburn. Now you got LSU back on the schedule. So, the Tigers said they wanted some Alabama. I know. Me too. Me too. Like, it's crazy because normally, like, you have the Iron Bowl and it's like everything kind of, culminates with the Iron Bowl, and then then it quiets down, or you go into the SEC championship game some years. This year it's like Iron Bowl, and then you talk about revenge next week against LSU. I mean, in a lot of ways, I'm more excited about seeing that game. But I just want to I want Alabama to be able to run the football today, and establish the run, and then and I mean, they're obviously going to throw it some too, but.
Do you think you'll see Chase McClellan more than you did in the other previous games? Because of, he's really good. 21 showing out.
I'll tell you what, I think he earned some playing time.
You'll see him a lot more too, I believe.
Yeah, both of those guys.
Billingsley, McClellan, and you'll see, what's his name? What's that other guy? Mechie. Yeah, you'll see Mechie a lot.
Yeah. I could see that. I think that McClellan could very well be someone that gets a lot of touches. I mean, he touched it 10 times and went 99 yards last week, and he was amazing. I mean, for a guy who kind of, wasn't really
stepped on the field. He was kind of like a nobody.
Yeah, like we didn't.
He was kind of like a nobody. He was kind of like when he got on the field, he was like, "Well, who is this guy? Who's he?" And then he gets a touchdown, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's Mechie. Okay, cool."
Yeah.
It's like Mac Jones is playing against the defense of Auburn this time, and he knows that he was thrown into the game last time because of what happened to Tui, but this time he's ready. And I believe that Saban's been like Kyle said, I believe that Saban's been practicing more on Auburn than people think.
Mm-hmm.
Not showing as many practices, not showing as much to not to give them what they can use against.
Yeah.
So I believe that they've been doing a lot more of that. And then even without Saban on the field, it's still going to be a beat down. I'm telling you, they're going to play for Saban. They're going to rally around Sarkisian and his assistant, and they're going to just go out there and dominate. And I'm just ready for it.
Hey, I am too.
I've been looking forward to this game all year. I'm ready for it, and that's my score. Like I said, I'm ready for this game. So let's go, Tide. Let's go win this game, baby. Let's go. Roll Tide, buddy. Y'all have a good day.
You too. Roll Tide. That's Jeff, and obviously he's pretty fired up about this game. And we appreciate you guys too. 205-850-0883. Talking to you from Hotel Indigo. I'm going to take a quick timeout, and I'm just going to go get a drink and come right back because I'm a little bit parched. So I'm going to throw this up here. You guys hang loose, and I mean, like in probably the next 30 seconds, I'll be back. Let me put that on there. All right, guys, I'm back, and I got my sound up, and got a drink, so we're going to hang out here. Phone line's open, 205-850-0883. We're going to talk about this Iron Bowl. We're going to take your calls. As long as you guys are calling, give us your scores. We'll stay on and do this. This year's Iron Bowl, because of the fact that we don't have the crowd's not going to be as big as we're used to. It's going to be a little bit different. But with that said, it's like, it's once that football kicks off, that it's going to be back to being the rivalry that we love so much. I think that this game is one that we'll remember, and they'll be playing this at Innisfree, where we were for our show last night, because I think it's just going to be a lot of Alabama players getting into the end zone. I think that it's going to be I think it's going to be a blowout. I think Alabama's going to run over these guys, and I just don't think Auburn's got the offense that's going to be able to kind of hang through the course of 60 minutes with this team. And maybe and some of you guys have had some great comments. One of them was that it's that it might be worse for Auburn that Steve Sarkisian's the acting head coach, because this is a chance for him. This is an opportunity for Sark to kind of get back on maybe the head coaching, short list for a lot of teams. And a big win over Auburn, score wise, people will be like, this guy's ready to go. I don't know. I've never been on the sideline next to Nick Saban to know when he gets to that point where he's, going to turn off the dogs. But, hopefully that'll be the case today. Then we say all that, and then you get out there and you look at some of these games surprisingly are pretty close, but Auburn and Tuscaloosa, besides the miracle that they had in 2010 with Cam Newton, they haven't really had a lot of luck here lately. And there was a time where they won a bunch of games here, Tommy Tuberville days. But that's kind of been a while now. Phone lines open, 205-850-0883. Give me your score. Let's talk about the game. What do you think about next week in LSU? Is that going to affect Alabama? There's no way they're looking over this game. Do you think that the not having the big audience is going to play a factor in? Anything that you guys want to talk about on the table right now. It's really, though, the biggest rivalry in college football. Well, let's go ahead and say that right now. So you talk about Auburn, Alabama. It used to be Michigan, Ohio State. Ohio State has turned that rivalry one-sided. Michigan hardly ever wins now. Texas and Oklahoma, Oklahoma's been really good. Texas will win that some, but it just seems like the Big 12 is kind of, a little bit down right now. Texas had a run, Oklahoma had a run, and we'll see them in the college football playoff, but they haven't won a national championship in a long time. And I think that's, one of the factors that you look in, as far as how big the rivalry is. I mean, Army-Navy is probably the best game in college football every year, just because of the pageantry and the history and what it means to our country. And then I'd say this one right here, because there's so many different memorable moments in these games. And, you name a year. And I was at Innisfree yesterday getting ready for the tailgate show, and they were deciding what Iron Bowl to put on television. And then on the SEC network, they were playing old Iron Bowls, and there's Jay Barker in 94, and then the 95 game came on, took that one right off. 96, I've talked a lot about that 96 game. And, Trip Rogers, the owner, said, hey, that's the game that I went with my dad there, and how special that one was. Alabama won 24-23. That was, Tommy Bowden and Gene Stallings in that one. And there's been the coaches in this game, Bear Bryant for a long time, Shug Jordan. I mean, this thing, now Nick Saban and I think Gus Malzahn is very underrated by Auburn fans. The expectation there, talking with Jay Tate from Auburn Sports, is that they need to be in the college football playoff. But they're competitive every year. They're always kind of like right on the doorstep of challenging for the SEC. This year, the loss to South Carolina is a killer because if they don't lose that, they come into this game, they win, they have the tiebreaker. They went out, they could go. But, Alabama's in a pretty commanding spot right now as far as the SEC goes. And a win today just about wraps up the championship for the west side of the SEC. So anyway, 205-850-0883 is going to do this for a couple more minutes. If you guys want to give your score, call in and give it right now. If not, from Hotel Indigo, I'm going to wrap things up and wish you guys all a great Saturday. I know games are about to kick off. You're probably getting your beer iced and, you're pigging the ground and all that stuff that you do for tailgating. It's a little bit different this year, but, it's still just having college football to me has been a big thrill. I've enjoyed it so much. So anyway, well, look, I'm going to wrap things up from Hotel Indigo. Appreciate you guys. Don't forget, subscribe to our channel, the Bama Insider YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up. We appreciate it. Love all the comments that you guys have been dropping. I celebrated the 2006 Baseball Regional Championship at Old Innisfree. Hey, I'll tell you what. That was a good team in 2006. Talking about baseball. I remember when I was in school, Alabama went to the College World Series a few times. Jim Wells, he did a great job there. Anyway, guys, we got 111 people watching. Give us 111 thumbs up and have an awesome day. Enjoy the game. Kyle will be on after the game to take your calls and break down what happened. And, and that's your chance to call in afterwards and kind of see where we are when this thing's all over. Well, hold on a second. Let me see. I got one more call in here. And since someone's calling, I will take it, and then I'm going to bid you farewell. Here's Sam from Alabama. Sam from Alabama, how you doing, man?
I'm good, Mick. How you doing, brother?
Good. I'm glad that you're here because you can talk a little bit, and I can drink some of this. What do you think about the game?
Oh man. I'm not too much worried about the kicking game. How about that?
Hey,
all right.
Let's stop right there, Sam. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. How many Iron Bowls do you go into and you're like, man, if it comes down to a kick, I know. I'm not even worried about that today. And the guy's been kicking pretty good too, Reichert. So
he's solid, man.
Yeah, he's
solid.
About time.
I told Kyle last week. I was like, man, this dude is the most consistent guy on our team. He's just doing everything to perfection,
Yeah.
I think on offensive wise, you got to depend on your big three. Mac Jones or Mac 10.
Mm-hmm.
He wants redemption, man. He wants, those pick sixes from last year is forever etched in his mind, and he wants redemption in this game, and he wants to, a little revenge I believe is on his mind. And a couple of things that I heard. I remember listening to Najee Harris' press conference. He didn't know how many wins and losses he had against Auburn. So that is when he found out he only had one loss and he only had one victory and two losses. I believe he's going to be ready for this game. All right. And also I heard an interview, I think it was after the game last week with Smitty, how Steve Sarkisian has been kind of moving him around, playing different positions and everything. So yeah. I believe I want to pay attention in this game to see if he's going to be inside, if he's going to be outside, if he's going to come out of the backfield and kind of do some of the same things that Water was doing.
Yeah.
So that I'm going to be looking forward towards that. And also use your beefy offensive linemen. You know, I mean, some people think that they're pretty good. I mean, I have my opinion about some of them, but use them, run the football, be physical with these guys, because, I mean, that's what Tennessee was doing last week.
Yeah.
You know, so defensively, there's a concern there. You know, is this defense going to take on the personality of our defensive coordinator?
Mm-hmm.
You know, or are they going to step up and continue to progress as they have been the past few weeks? You know, you just can't. This is a big game.
Yeah.
You know, not just for them, not just for the season, but also, you know, for this state. You know, this is the game, one of the biggest games of the year. So you can't come out and be flat on defense like you were last week. You know, I know the competition was a little different, but you can't come out flat, man. You know, if you love this game of football, you come out and you be prepared and be ready to play and give your best.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you know, like Saban said, you got to use your eyes in this game as far on the defensive side of the football, because Auburn is gonna, you know, they kind of like what Lane Kiffin do. They want to get you moving one way and have the ball going another way. So you have to use your eyes, and I believe they have to play a little bit more zone defense to do that, or some sort of matchup zone, right?
Yeah.
So the defensive wise and tackle, man, you have to tackle. I know they say that the running back is questionable. Now he's a stud, but I would go into this game anticipating that he's going to play. You know, so I mean that's how I see it, man. I just hope we can. I just want to win the ball game, basically. I don't really have a prediction of the score in my mind at this time, but I just want to come out victorious, and I really want to beat these guys, man.
Yeah.
And then look forward to next week, man. We just got to keep moving forward, you know. Just keep moving forward, and you know everything will work out for you.
You know, Sam, it's the funny thing is, if this was any other game, right? If the uniforms weren't, you know, orange and blue with white, and it was any other game, and Bama was a 24-point favorite, we wouldn't be even thinking about, you know, like it would just be, okay, you know, they're going to run right over them. The fact that it's Auburn, there's always this little bit of, they're going to have some kind of trick, some ball's going to bounce their way, something's going to happen. Like, you always have to give them like this, they call it Auburn Jesus. I don't know what it is. The officials always seem to give them a hand up. Like any other team, you're up, right. You're a 24-point, 25-point favorite. You're not that worried about it. These guys always they just make me a little bit nervous. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Gus Malzahn has a rabbit foot in one of his back pockets, man. All right, they do get assistance from the refs. I mean, they should have had a loss against Arkansas. I think Arkansas got cheated in that game. The Ole Miss game. I think they gave the ball back to Auburn after the Auburn guy on punt team on the punt return, the returner touched the ball.
Yeah,
but they gave the ball back to Auburn. So, you know, don't give these guys anything. You know, that's how they won last year, because we gave them 2 pick sixes and we had a missed field goal. That's how they won. The same thing with LSU last year. They won by return the ball over twice. They scored 2 touchdowns off of those turnovers, and we had a box punch which gave them a short field to kick a field goal. So, you know, I mean, don't give these guys anything. Take care of the football. Create turnovers. You know, stay in your lane. You know, I think our defensive linemen have been kind of showing promise.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see our linebackers, our inside linebackers. You know, Christian Harris been pretty steady. Our inside linebacker play and our outside linebacker play. I want to see those guys step up and you know, show out today, because I think it all could come down to, how they play in my mind. Because I think the secondary has been, they've been pretty much steady over the past several weeks and being very opportunistic, creating turnovers, getting interceptions, turning those turnovers into creating those turnovers and making and scoring touchdowns, So, I want to see our linebackers, inside and outside linebackers, step up this game. And, I just want to crush these guys.
Yeah.
Man. And then look forward to next week. So, this is, we was on a, Saban's former assistants tour for 4 straight weeks.
Yep.
Where they tried to beat us. And then now we're on the revenge tour. So this is one of 2 revenge games, man.
Hey,
so
I love
I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Mick, for taking my call, man. I look forward to hearing from you guys later on today, tonight. And I appreciate all the content you all provide us. And I'm glad you're part of the team, man.
Hey, thanks, Sam. Thanks. Great call. And
yes, sir.
Make sure you subscribe and like. We appreciate Sam and everyone else that's called. We'll take another call. And as long as you guys are calling, I'll stay on here and talk to you. Don't forget, though, as you watch on YouTube, like and subscribe our channel. Kyle will be back on after the game. And if it's one of those games and there's like 3 minutes left and they're running the football out, Kyle normally jumps on there. You got the watch party happening today. So we try to do a lot of different stuff to stay connected with you guys. All right, who's on the phone line and where you calling from? Hey, you got me, caller? Nope, lost him. All right, guys. Well, look, we got the watch party after the game. Make sure you catch up with Kyle. He's going to have the call-in show. I'll be back at it tomorrow, and we'll have all kind of stuff. The Max and Mick podcast. Don't forget about that. You can download that on Apple, Spotify, and we put a lot of these shows also on the podcast channel as well. So when you're driving around, you want some content, maybe you missed something, it's on there, like last night's tailgate show and, some of our shows from the week, Andrew Bones recruiting and all those guys do an awesome job to kind of provide, you guys with the latest information. So we'll be breaking this down. I mean, depending on how the game goes, I may have to do like Kyle and call into the show just to comment on it a little bit. Maybe I'll pop on, but again, 2:30 today, Alabama plays Auburn. Appreciate all you guys. Have a safe Saturday. And from here at Hotel Indigo in Tuscaloosa, gorgeous place. We appreciate them, Tina Jones and the crew here for hosting us as we do this Saturday Alabama-Auburn thing here in Tuscaloosa. If you haven't been here yet, come by. And you don't have to even have a reservation here. There's a restaurant bar on the 5th floor, and it's called The Lookout. And this place is magnificent. It's right on the Black Warrior River. You get to oversee Tuscaloosa. It's an awesome place to hang out. Right now, they've got all the Christmas trees lined up outside, and you can see all those at night. They all light up, and this makes for a really beautiful view. So, all right, guys, thanks for joining us today, and we'll talk to you later on. Make sure you tune in for the watch party, and then Kyle will be on after the game with the post-game show. Thanks, guys. Roll Tide.